ba natin?
Yes, of
Yep.
Of
course.
course. Ayan, we're gonna be talking about
Premiere.
that. Yes, we're gonna be talking about that tonight. Mikey won't be able to join us tonight. I think he has prior commitments. He's with his friends, I guess. No, tama ba? Or with his partner, I guess. Nakita ko sa Instagram niya. I think he's with Louis, his partner. So I think he's enjoying his time with his partner and some friends.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
So
Let's give it to
it's just
him
gonna
na.
Oo. Kasi parang ano, he's been with us like every episode or every session. So we'll give him or give
Yeah.
like him let him take his break. Yes. Okay. So it's just
Yes.
gonna be the three of us tonight. We're gonna be talking about the episode 2 of Cheat the series. But before that, we're gonna be saying hi to some of our friends in the chat. Do help me say hi to them. We have VR, of
VR.
course.
VR. Ang aga mo, VR. Where's your pizza?
Kanina pa siya. Right? And then we also have Nolan in the house.
Hey,
Yes.
Nolan.
Hi, Nolan.
Yes. And we have Milesho.
Hi,
Ayan.
Melesio.
Yes. He's always here. Thank you so much for supporting.
Thank you for the love and
Yes.
support.
We have Raquel Francisco.
Hi, Rocky.
And then we have D, of course.
Hi, D.
Hi
Heidi.
G, I super love your voice. I've been like watching your
Diba?
videos.
And she sings
May
Filipino
paboses
too,
ni
and I
Mama.
appreciate it.
Yeah, super ganda. The voice is so big. I super love it. And who else? I think we have here Leon
Lian.
Fernando. Hey, hey, hey.
Hello.
Ayan. And
Mm.
si Sunny Boy Valdez is asking, Benak Jim, mag-start na po ba? Sinong makakapagbigay ng sagot?
The season 2
Palampagin
po,
po
you have,
natin.
wala po. We have to contact Easy Ferrer for that.
Yes. But tonight we're going to be talking about Cheat the Series. That's the second episode of this new series. So nakita naman natin sa intro video natin, we are embarking on a new journey. It's going to be fun. It's going to be something that
Yes.
we've been anticipating. So who'll do the honors? Who's going to start with his review or parang ano ba? Sentiments about the second episode.
Okay, sige,
Hmm.
I'll start.
Go.
Kasi I
Go.
think Lance has a lot to say. So I'd rather go first.
Mhm.
But, since since this is the second episode pa lang again, I've watched it in the premiere. So may unang okay. Watch it in the premiere. So again, just like the first time, I wasn't expecting like I was expecting it to be around 20 to 30 minutes, no. Well,
Mhm.
apparently it was cut at the 20-minute mark, I guess.
Correct.
Pero just like the experience from the first episode, no, hindi kasi while watching it premiere, I don't know when will the episode end. Unlike watching it post premiere, na you know how long the video is gonna be.
Right.
Pero for this one, the same experience as the first episode, Blue Balls, bitin, sobrang bitin, nakaka-bad trip. At some point,
Super.
nakaka-bad trip siya. Na parang, okay, that's it. Is it really, that's it? Parang, if you're gonna put it on the timeline of what's happening, it was just like the morning after until that same day, like this, that night, like the night after something. Pero, dun lang umikot yung timeline ng episode
Mhm.
2. So parang,
Mhm.
So parang since we've talked with the cast of Cheat, and they said na this is a 6 episode series with yung timeline is 5 days, diba? So
Right.
is
Right.
if episode 2 constitutes roughly around a day,
Mhm.
I'm curious kasi the first episode also constituted a day. So parang okay, so are we gonna tackle 1 day per episode? Well,
Right.
maybe for the finale, ito cut into two. Pero
Yep.
that's what I'm looking forward to, yung kung paano siya mabubuo yung kwento. Well, on the contrary, the story is progressing
Mm-mm.
pretty much collectively. It's pretty much how do you say this? It's coherent, it's complete,
Right. Right.
albeit it's bitten, no? Parang the story is
Mm.
progressing and unfolding. All the characters are unfolding na hindi nakakainis
Mm,
while it only lasted for 20 minutes.
right.
However, if we will go character by character, I don't know if VR is still here. But buti pa nandito si VR, but in the episode, wala ata siya. Like, in episode 2. So yun, character-wise, I was dahil nga konti lang yung time na na-elapse. I mean, it was just like the morning after and then nag-cut short siya into like 5 or 6 p.m. 'Di ba? Yung when they
Right.
were doing the final scene
Mm,
na nagkakast sila ng spell. Wala for at least for this episode, I didn't see that much progression in this story. Paano ko ba sasabihin? Kasi kanina kasabi ko lang nag-progress yung story. Pero wala masyadong nangyari in my
yeah.
opinion. However,
Yeah.
they set the setting real good, at least for the first 2 episodes. If it's a wise decision, given that they only have 6 episodes for this season, we don't know
Right.
yet. However, since they've already been vocal that they will have a season 2, so I guess kung ano mang lacking ng season 1, if ever there will be, mako-compensate naman yon ng season 2, I hope. Pero for episode 2, given that they already gave us 2 episodes in a 6 episode series, with what happened, medyo lacking for me in terms of what drives the story.
Right.
But then again, it's just me talking. I'm not bashing naman. It's just that medyo nababagalan ako ng konti sa progress ng story. However, they set the characters really good. Yun. Siguro I'll go with like a satisfier would be
Mm.
like the shower scene. I would not be a hypocrite for not saying that na.
Yes.
Yes. And that's how you do a shower scene, actually.
Yeah, I mean, okay, here's that. I was really choosing my words, which words to say and which not to say, because there are a lot of series out there na they're doing this long scene of provocative and revealing portrayals of the characters. No?
Mhm,
But sometimes
mhm.
there are instances na kapag when they do it, it often tends to be ano ba, not pleasing. Like it's violating me. Parang ganun yung nafe-feel ko at some point.
Yes.
Pero for
Yeah.
this episode, at least for Daryl, for V, kahit may konting sneak peek ng piggy bank hole. um, hindi siya bastos. I mean, to say it bluntly, hindi siya bastos tignan. It was done tastefully. Although, medyo nakabaan ako ng konti sa sequence nung nakatalikod siya. Although hindi ko naman expect na humarap siya, pero I would not complain naman. Pero I think YouTube will. So, it's nice that they didn't go that route. Yun. Na-feel ko yung emotion niya while showering na parang he wants to, I don't know, maybe he wants to cleanse himself of the sin na sinasabi nung sister. And then the next would be, I think, Alora. I mean, if 4 characters per se, the one who stood out for me is still Alora, just like the
Yeah.
first episode.
Yes.
So her characterization and her acting is natural. It can be improved further, yes. Pero it's natural. Parang she really embodies her character. So good job to her for that. Kudos for her. I really appreciate how invested she is with her character. I was really looking forward to an improvement from V's character. From Daryl's character, which is V, in terms of acting. There was kind of just like what Nico mentioned in the previous na review natin na it was kind of anticipatory. However, comparing it from the first episode, may improvement naman akong nakita. I mean, meron ng improvement for the lack of a better term. However, there's this parang scene lang na when she is talking with Jennifer, medyo napansin ko yung theatrical stance ng acting. Kita ko yung nung
Right.
pagtayo niya, na parang kita ko yung degree ng katawan para for theater. I really see the theatrical side of his acting.
Right.
If it's a good thing or not, I don't know. Pero for me, for a small screen, especially for YouTube, na usually people are watching via mobile, nuances are so important. I mean, in terms of acting, it's like small nuances, small gestures would mean a lot, or would mean big things. Whereas a big acting comparable to what you do in theater would somehow constitute to parang overacting at some instances. So parang that's one thing lang na the characters should, I think, parang keep an eye on in terms of their acting. Although, gaya na sinabi ko no first episode, I was really looking forward to Iyo, no? To Allen. Oh, okay, nandiyan siya. Pero wala siyang ginawa. Ano ba yan? Nakakabad. For the whole 20 minutes, naglaro ka lang. Like, okay. Parang yeah, again, I'm still looking forward to how his character unfolds throughout the story. No? Yun, I also missed somehow Tuesday's character. I mean, the mother.
Right.
Parang, okay, she's there. Pero siguro dahil masyado ng pasabog yung first episode, no? So hindi natin. Parang siguro toned down in the second episode. I don't know. Pero I looked for her in this episode. And again, konting bummers with obviously yung paano ba, angles ng camera. Some shots were shaky. And also, although I think they improved a lot in terms of the color grading, what we have mentioned in the first episode. No, although there are still some inconsistencies, konti, pero it improved a lot from the first episode. Na hindi na natin nakita yung biglang shift na parang am I still watching the same episode? Yan. Ayun. Also, a final bummer would be, I think, the credit. I don't know if they can still change it, or is it nice pa to change it? Kasi yung final credits scene, medyo ano lang siya. It's sorry for the lack of a better term. It's 2004 to 2008 for me. That's not shade. It's not a negative thing. Or if it is, it's up to the viewers to decide if it's a negative thing. Ay, sorry, may last pa pala. When V texted Dong, there was this scene where when V texted Dong the morning after, nung pagka-uwi niya. Nung una, nagulat ako na may nagpo-float na text. Like, what's this? Tapos yun, apparently, it's a text message from V to Dong. So parang, it's ano kasi, it's, paano ba? Siguro I grew accustomed to how we see text messages portrayed on screen. No? Nagpa-flash yung mismong screenshot ng text message. So when they did that, it looked like, although naintindihan ko naman after 2 seconds siguro. Pero when they did that, initial reaction was like, para siyang, alam mo yun, para siyang lyric videos ng mga music videos sa YouTube. So, it isn't effective for me personally. Pero I got the message, I got what happened. I understood what the V did during that scene. So, in terms of understanding the story, all is good. However, yun lang. There were some visual inconsistencies for me kasi sometimes the grading would seem grayish na parang it would set you in a mood na it's mystical, it's paano ba? It's like the whole concept of Cheat the series na parang gloomy, ganun yung feel, and then you see the text message na parang it's not mystical to say the least. So sana konting tahe pa ng mga visuals because I think the acting is okay, the soundtrack is good. Yung editing in terms of visuals, like how they incorporate how they enhance each photo or moving picture to translate to how they want the story to unfold. So ayun. Nakakainis pa din yung sister, pero okay, sige, that's beside the point. I'm not expecting naman a character development from her at like early on, like the second episode. So
Yeah.
I really wished Iyo acted more. Pero okay, sige.
Yay!
Okay, thank you
O,
for
diba?
joining. Ganun eh. Thank you for joining our chat. I think that's everything already. Ganun eh.
I'm sorry.
Yeah,
Parang
pero-
may papalakpak.
Oo nga eh. Ooh, Alora's in the
Gusto mo
house.
yun?
Hey, Alora.
Is she?
Yes, she's in the chat.
Oh, wow!
Oh,
she just came in.
Yay! Talaga?
Wow.
Yes.
Hi, Alora!
Hi,
Hi,
Alora.
Laura. Oh my God. The reach. I cannot. Charot lang.
I cannot do.
You're just on time.
Ang ganda talaga ng
Hey,
kablato.
Joy.
Huwag niyo naman tanggalin yung picture. Nakakainis. Ang ganda niya.
Saya. Ang ganda talaga ni Alora, no?
Alora talaga, yeah.
Yeah, you can give her any hair, whether short or long, she could work that thing.
Babagayan niya talaga.
Whether
Yeah.
black or with purple.
I know.
Regardless, yes.
And yeah, she stood out greatly in this episode. For me, especially. To add on what Mark was saying. And syempre, I'm a fan serve. I love the spells pa din. And although some of the translations were a bit off, kasi when you say Dolores Inferni, that means the sorrows of hell. Siguro they had to change that a bit in the captions. Kaya, yan, kasi if you would put the sorrows of hell in a caption, parang, okay. Tama, di ba?
Okay.
Yeah. So, those are just a
Baka for
few
to
things.
make it more palatable.
Yeah, tingin more palatable. Kasi the translation of Dolores is sorrow, and Inferni is hell. So, yun lang. Those few things. And the other things were good naman. And they put in a Greek love charm, which is the Polymus charm. Love charm? Yung Polymus Philtron, if I'm not mistaken. So, and I'm happy that they finally put a circle of protection in terms of magic.
Yeah.
Those were the stones, the candles. So
Yay.
usually it comes with 4 elements: earth, fire, wind, and water. So seeing all of that present, parang, they're doing it safely. Thank you so much. And what else can I say? Yeah, I
That's
think
what
Daryl
you
still
said
needs work.
the last time, diba?
Kay Tuesday.
Yeah.
Kay Tuesday, first name basis, ang kapal mo ka.
Hi, Tuesday. Ganun eh. And Daryl still needs work. I think he's still getting into his character pa rin. And I love how they did the shower scene kasi it felt like a cleansing moment for him. Like if every Thai BL has a water scene, we have this. We have our fan service in a way that's portrayed in a good, ties in well with the story plot. It's not like a lingering stare. It's more like if we have a lingering stare, his was more of a cleansing, washing off all the dirt kind of stare when he did the shower scene. Tapos we also
Right.
have, and I missed VR in this episode.
Yeah.
Where did he go? I mean, I would have loved him at least playing with Migo, with Migo and Io in that scene. But hey, maybe there's a triangle between them.
Or like
I'm not
there's
sure.
some kind of tension between their characters. So kaya wala siya dun. I don't know. Kasi the last
Yeah.
time we saw him, natutulog lang siya.
I know. Yeah, feeling ko there's a tension between the three characters. With this character, the younger brother versus the older brother, maybe. And I would have loved nga, like what you said a while ago, that they could have given EU a bigger role. And basta, kudos pa rin to Alora for pulling everything off because I could see her expressions, although some of it were a bit confusing in a way. Kasi I wasn't really sure if when she came into the room crying to his mother, if that was real or not, or a plot. Gets mo? Like if she was acting to be crying just to get the spell book, or was she really tearing herself apart because she may be falling for V and V is falling for the brother.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So it kind of confused me on that part. Pero once you go through the story, parang you're getting to see the bigger picture. And yeah, and sabi nga ni Melesio, yung the slight payakap ni Dong kay V was good too, was cute.
Yes.
Yeah, nainggit ako.
Oo nga eh. Sana may nagbibigay ng
Yun.
wine. Sana may paalak din.
Oo. Sana may pa-pack sa pisngi, di ba? May pa-kiss na ganun, char.
Oo.
True.
Yep.
Oh,
While Ma'am Yao is on the chats, Ma'am Yao, if you have
Hi.
if you have comments on the spellcraft, please do share.
Yes.
We'd
we
love to know your
appreciate it.
opinions, especially on those parts.
Yep.
If it was accurate or not. Sa akin, it felt accurate naman. Pero yeah.
Okay.
Especially with the Gayuma. With the Gayuma scene in the water, parang nakakainis sila. I mean, they know how to cut off an episode. That you're kept hanging and wanting for more what will come next. Pero tama ka nga. It's too short. It felt too short, especially if you go back to the timeline. It's just like, it felt like it only happened within the 24-hour radius palang in their timeline. Whereas in the other series, they're stretched into, you'd feel the days, the gap of
Yes.
days. This one, you don't even feel like there was a gap in their timeline.
Yeah. It's like they shot the whole series in one go, and then they just like segmented it
Yep.
into episodes. Kasi with other series, you feel na aso natapos sila mag-shoot nito. So kasi ito yung next scene. So you can see, yeah, just like what Laz mentioned. Pero this kasi it really continues. I mean, wala nga yung
Yeah.
like ang nakaraan or something. So parang
Yeah.
if you really haven't watched, or if you don't even remember what happened in the previous episode, yeah, you really need to refresh your memory before watching the next episode. Kasi din ako nag-gulat kasi nung nag-premiere siya, like, okay, paki-start na agad ng story for the next episode. So, okay.
Yeah, and that's always, like I said a while ago, I hope they edit the end credits na it feels like it's a bit dated. Especially with how the words and the names of the cast are layouted. It feels like it's a very old film. Siguro kasi it's too big. There should be like a balance between the header with all the names below. Yung mga ganun. We're used to seeing small credits. And this one we have like all big words spread out in one big slide. Yun lang.
Maglalagay din ako ng palakpak for Lance.
Sige, go.
Okay yan. Okay na, go. Gusto ko lang ipasok yung palakpak.
I was just saying na yung first part, yung when they introduced the cast, yung first na part. Nice yung nice yung sequence na yun like how they introduced the cast, like yung Canlas as Allen. So the end credits was really a downer for me, comparing it to how they introduced the characters in the first. Anong part yun ng episode? I'm not a arts major. Anong part ba yun ng isang episode? Yung
intro. Yung parang intro spiel nila or intro cast. Parang ganun.
Intro credits? Intro credits? Meron bang ganun?
Ay, may comment si Mahal. Hi, Mahal. Yeah, he's saying that they literally created a circle, as in literal na may circle. That's not how it's done. And one never leaves the circle with an unfinished ritual. So basically, kasi they said it's part 1, part 2. So they left without finishing the ritual. So they're really risky.
Yeah. Oh, kasi nauhaw sila, minom sila ng tubig.
Yes, na may gayuma yung tubig. And maybe that could be that's why the reason is, kaya if we're going to episode 3, kaya the spell backfires. Kasi it was taken, it's kumbaga, it's not as, they're doing it risky. Like what Tuesday did in the first episode na, tawag na to? Na she did without a protection circle. This one is like a disrespect to the gods, according to my partner. So maybe these would have after effects. Like I think we were discussing with Ma'am Yao before na may balik. There's always a return for that for every spell you cast. And in an old series, they say magic has a price, and maybe the price would be bigger because you made a disrespectful thing against magic and the elements around you.
Yes.
So we'll see. Baka the spell would have a recoil, a very bad recoil on Alora, on Dong, or V. Let us see what will happen in the next episode.
Well, that's something that we can anticipate. So I think that's purposive that they cut it off there. But I will just add to what you guys said. I mean, pretty much I will definitely agree with you. Yung sa visuals din medyo na-confuse ako ng konti dun sa text part kasi we got used to the visuals na text, alam mo yun, sa Game Boys and any other series. Consistently, we would see like mga, how do you call it, yung parang box na text
Yung
type.
screen captures or parang
Right.
ganun.
Right. And then parang we get to have a recall or visual recall that, oh, it's a text. Ito kasi parang, ha? Bakit siya parang in ganun? Sabi nga ni Mark, no? And I think I will definitely agree with you guys. Siguro ako na lang overall, I feel like the series is pretty straightforward. It doesn't beat around the bush. Like, it doesn't, alam mo yun, like other series would actually extend scenes and then parang make it flowery and colorful. Alam mo yun, na parang unnecessarily. But this kasi parang you can see a shower scene and that's a shower scene, 'di ba? You can see them doing the spell and that's it, 'di ba? Parang wala masyadong parang you don't get to be confused of what's going on in the scene, right? Siguro it also contributed to how fast it went. And yes, I must agree with you. It was really fast. I felt
Yeah.
like, 'di ba parang it felt like an extended commercial ad. Yun yung pakiramdam ko. Parang yung mga Thai ads na parang
Yes.
may kwento, nag-aantay ka, and then it ended, and then okay, you're happy. Here kasi, our minds have been programmed that it is an episode. So we're kind of like anticipating for more, I guess. So I'm not so sure if it's the duration. I guess it's the content eh. Kasi you two also made mention that na parang sabi ni Mark kanina, parang si Iyo could have actually acted or done more in the scene. Parang lalaro lang siya doon. Well, but in fairness to Iyo ha, parang I felt like he was kind of natural there.
Oh naman, he was natural.
Diba? Parang ang tendency kasi, the fact na kasi na maiksi lang yung part, he has a small part there. The tendency is you can overact or overdo your role. But there, parang ano na siya, barkada lang siya. But yeah, I have to agree. Parang he could have done something more in the episode.
Or kumbaga, the director could have given, or a script could have given him more scenes so you could see more of Iyo.
Right. So, pero I think maganda yung conceptual realization din ni Mark na parang probably it was, I mean, all the episodes have been shot like in days, in diba in a week, tama ba?
Yeah.
In a few days, and then chop na lang siya. It's been planned in such a way. So I guess yun yung feel natin. So it's been decided that this is episode 2 and that's it, diba?
Yeah.
So ayun lang, but I just feel that it's pretty straightforward. It doesn't really like pull you to different directions. It's just there. Whatever you see is what you get. Yun na yun, diba? Other than that, siguro kung I think yun lang. I pretty much said everything. Yun yung parang sort of satisfier ko kasi yun yung parang concern ko in some series. Some Thai BL series, medyo nag-extend na parang nababagalan ako, na parang talaga ba? Kailangan ba talagang mahabaan ang titigan, di ba? Kailangan ba talagang matagal ang lakaran sa hallway ng campus? Yung gano'n.
Hindi lang Thai lang yun. Hindi lang Thai. Ginawa rin nila sa ibang Pinoy yun.
Talaga? Oh, okay. Yeah. So, di ba? So, I appreciate them for being straightforward. And
yes, actually.
Kumbaga, like, we've been discussing about the shower scene eh. Diba? You two said na parang, alam mo yun, parang it can be this, it can be that. Diba? Pero it can be like a form of cleansing. Sabi ni Maki, parang masyadong mahaba yung shot dun sa nakatalikod siya and all, so on and so forth. Pero it doesn't actually give us a sense of like, parang nababastusan tayo eh. Parang it's just taking a bath. Parang ganon.
Right.
Diba? Parang it doesn't actually focus on certain body parts that will make you feel that, hala, ano ba yan? It's too nude for you, or too much for me,
yes.
diba? But it's just taking a bath. And then, merong parang recall din, diba? Or parang sort of montage din of what happened the previous night. So parang, it makes sense.
Cleansing ritual siya eh.
Yeah, it's a cleansing ritual. So ako overall, I also feel that satisfier ko rin to. I feel like although there are some shots that were kind of that need a bit of improvement siguro. And I think I raised this with you guys in our group chat that it was kind of dark for me. Although yeah, I get the whole point. I think Lance made mention that they're going for that mood that it's it's magical, it's it's witchcraft or whatnot. It's supernatural rather. Pero there are other series and films that actually were clean and crisp pagdating sa visuals eh. Like malinis. I just feel like it was kind of noisy, right? If we talk about like photography, like videography, it was kind of like grainy a little bit. I don't know kung ilang frames per second or ano yung camera na gamit nila. I'm not really that particular ha. Pero like there are other series that did so much better, I guess, in terms of visuals. Na it was clean, it was
I
smooth,
know.
diba? So yun lang, parang hindi naman siya like super major bomber talaga sa akin, no? Parang I still went for like how the shots were done because I feel like the shots were deliberate. They were planned, they were thought out. Hindi siya yung random freestyle na shot lang, di ba? And you guys know that I have concerns about yung mga random commercial ad shots na mga tipo, talagang kailangan ba talaga mag-pan? Kailangan ba talagang mag-dolly? Kailangan ba talagang alam mo yun? So, I feel like all the shots were planned. Yun nga, parang a bit of improvement na lang, medyo shaky ng konti, di ba? Siguro konting linis lang din siguro, but I guess they would go for that kind of feel and mood, no? Even the color grading, I have to agree, it improved. But medyo nalalabuan pa rin ako ng konti. Pero super minor na lang talaga siya. Ako, I like how it ended because it makes me anticipate for the next episode. Parang shocks anong next ito. And I think I did share this with you guys the last time that the first 3 episodes of a series or the first 2 episodes of a series, me, a good impression of what the series is about. And number 2, it should actually give me a glimpse of the characters already and what the story is going to or how the story is going to go about in the next episodes. I think they're successful naman in these 2 episodes, in this particular episode. So I guess all good for me. Minor adjustments here and there na lang. Just like what you said a while ago. Yep. Yun lang.
Yun. So I have a question. I'll ask you then the same question we asked in their interview ng Cheap. Parang, have you guys ever delved into the supernatural or into divination, witchcraft, those kinds of stuff then? Kasi I have got a partner nga who did that. I delved into some parts of tarot card reading, palm reading.
Talaga?
Yeah. And I have a best friend. I used to have a best friend too who was into Wiccan. So I was exposed a lot. Somehow. But never got into that deeply. Kayo ba?
Okay. Ako never. I got interested pero I didn't have the network, I guess, or group of friends. How I wish I had, just for me to like understand what's going on there, right? To be exposed and to really experience it. Although, I don't know kung accurate or kasi meron akong office mate before and this is kind of funny and then medyo hindi ko na siya pinapansin. So, hinulaan niya ako for some reason. It's divination, di ba? Tama ba ako, Lance?
If you go Harry Potter, it's divination.
Divination. Parang ba tawag yung pag palm reading? Basta palm reading. Basta sabi niya sa amin, parang pag nagbasa daw siya ng palm, meron daw kamalasan siyang matatanggap in return. May ganong kwento. Basta yun yung tatandaan ko. But anyway, sabi ko sa kanya, papalitan ko na lang siya with gifts daw kasi dapat bibigyan siya ng something.
Yeah, so sabi some do that.
Yeah, parang like some sort of good or parang good siguro. I gave her something like on a Christmas, I guess. Nakalimutan ko na. Anyway, so takot ako kasi at the time medyo paniwala talaga ako sa mga ganun, I swear. I think super open talaga yung utak ko sa mga ganun. So, nagpabasa ako ng palm ko and then sabi niya, ginaganon-ganon niya. Sabi niya talaga, magpapakasal daw ako sa babae. So, sabi niya, tapos yung babae daw, mayaman. Yung totoo talaga to, yung babae daw mas mayaman sa akin. And then, this woman will financially support me daw. And then, parang I don't get to like, I don't need to work anymore because of this lady. Mas matanda daw sa akin. Sabi ko, ano yan? Tinanggal ko yung kamay ko. Sabi ko, anong ka-etrosan yan? So since then, hindi na talaga ako nagpa-palm reading kasi ayoko nang, ba't ako magpapakasal?
Babae pa, di ba?
Ay, babae pa. Tapos sabi ko, parang,
or baka natatakot ka na nag-second palm reading ka. Same yung sabihin. So, oh my God.
Exactly. Na parang, hello, paniwala ako sa kahit diba? So, sabi ko, ayoko magkatotoo yan. Sabi ko, ano ba yung hulaan nyo? Very napaka, heterosexual masyado. Wala kayong respeto sa kabaklaan.
Pero, that's why they ask for gifts kasi may balik nga yan, di ba? I was telling you like, they're giving out energy, so they need the energy back. So, if or else, it will come back to them as negative karma, kumbaga. Parang ganun siya.
Sabi ni Ma'am Yao.
Sabi ni Ma'am Yao daw, baka trans daw.
Trans daw. I mean, it could be, Ma'am Yao. Pero, ang sa akin kasi parang, she was really clear dun eh. Na parang ang sabi ko sa kanya, and she knows I'm gay. Sabi ko, but I'm gay. How can that even be possible? Sabi niya, wala nakasulat sa, sa palm mo. Sabi ko, wala. Naku, hindi totoo yan. Bibigyan na lang kita ng regalo. Bala ka dyan.
Mm. Na-try ko
So,
na
yun
rin yan. Yung sa akin naman, when I got my palm read before, ang reading sa akin, natutuwa at natatawa ako. Kasi somehow it happened.
Okay.
Ang sabi niya sa akin, my love line was, I'll be crying heavily 6 times.
Oh my God.
Or my heart will be broken 6 times.
And
Tapos
it
nasasabi niya sa akin, feeling ko it happened naman na I got my heart broken 6 times. And the letter that he saw, na the person na huli ko would be a P. Hindi pa siya sure, it was a P or an R. So,
Pietro? Joke lang.
kaya natawa nga ako. That's why parang, is this coincidence lang or what? So,
baka friend ni Pietro yan, tapos sinet up lang kayo.
During the time, hindi kayo magkakalala.
Okay.
Ang friend ko pa lang nun si... As in, wala pa. I never met Nico pa during that time. So, ganung katagal siya. It was that way long ago. So, I did tarot card reading then. Tapos ang hula sa akin, pinahula ko yung past life ko. Because sometimes we do believe na your past life would have a bearing on your present life. So, ang sabi sa akin, my past life was, I was a hermit stuck in a cave with lots of books. Or a druid, kumbaga, who did natural magic. Pero I was only stuck inside that cave and just kept reading and reading and reading and reading. Yun lang. Na hindi ko nakita yung outside world.
Interesting.
Interesting. Makulit nga.
Wala. I mean,
Ikaw ba, Maki?
Wala eh. I mean, paano ba? I was naive when I was in high school. I used to collect voodoo dolls.
Okay.
So, minsan nabibili ko, minsan, pero kasi, it's so trivial for me. I was really a naive high school gay kid.
Yeah.
Now, when I collected voodoo dolls, it was all for aesthetics. I mean, it was all for like I like how it looks. Parang ganun. Pero wala siyang, I think, oh my God, napaisip ako bigla. Baka may effect yun sa akin sa mga nangyayari sa buhay ko. Pero, oh my God. Pero wala. I mean, wala akong any experience. I haven't had my palm read. I haven't like asked another person to do card reading for me. So, wala rin ako experience with a crystal ball or is it may crystal ball ba talaga?
Meron.
Hindi ko meron talaga. Okay. Yan, I haven't is it in Quiapo or Escolta? Yung may ganun.
Quiapo,
di ba? Yan. So, yan.
Halo-halo sila doon.
When I passed by Quiapo before, nakita ko yung parang may isang section doon na may mga nahuhula. So parang ako, being my socksai self, parang ako, paano naman, oh my God, parang there's this Catholic church here and then there's this parang another side na nag-read, like nagpo-fortune tells. Parang, okay, those are two legit beliefs. Pero kasi how do they marry? Like, sa kabilang side, meron ding mga Islam na who's there for a living. So parang, I'm really curious with how these groups of like people, cultural groups of people mingle in a single spot, like as small as Quiapo. So parang dun ako na-fascinate. So I haven't had a chance to have my palm read or what. Although, parang may nakita na akong when I was a kid, yung mga, I don't know if it's I really don't know if it's the same thing. Pero yung mga oil na may laman sa loob, like, nakakita na ako ng oil na may snake. Is it the same? Please correct me if I'm wrong. I really don't know. Pero is it in the same like facet or something? Sabi ng boyfriend ko hindi daw, so okay. Hindi daw. So, ayun, yun lang. Pero I have no experience whatsoever.
Yeah, correction na. I think those dolls are for sorcery. Yung parang puppets where you can control people. Kasi voodoo is a spiritual belief in the Louisiana or in the Caribbean. So if we have animism, they have something called voodoo, which came from the African region, transferred into the Caribbean and in Louisiana.
Oh.
So we have a similar history na in a way na our babaylans were turned into witches, their voodoo were turned into witches. Ganun na nangyari.
Pero ako, parang ano, it's interesting that we have a different kind of mindset when it comes to witchcraft, wizardry, not witchcraft, divination, and
Mm.
all these things, right? Sorcery. And it basically brings us back to colonization, right? Colonial Spanish era, right? We were reprogrammed, forced to believe that, it's against Catholic, I mean, Christianity, di ba? Parang they made use of Christianity kasi to colonize the Philippines, right? And then Lance
Yeah.
kasi made mention of the Babay Lance. And technically, it's the, how do you call that? Uh,
Hindi kasi
Pre-colonial Philippines religion. Tama ba? Like beliefs.
ours is ours is called folk Catholicism, like what they did with Mexico, like what they did the other
Mm,
countries in Africa. So
right.
what they did before, kasi they tried it in Africa. No, I think they tried it in Mexico muna, and they tried to
Mm,
eradicate the existing belief systems of the people,
right,
but
right,
that didn't work.
right.
Nagagalit sila kasi they keep on assimilating. So what they did with the Philippines was they
Mm,
assimilated our ancient cultures or ancient beliefs with theirs. Like for example, we used to have a kid deity or a young deity. Let's say kunwari si Bulan, who was
mm.
represented by a kid minsan, and they changed him to Santo Niño.
There you go.
Parang ganun ginagawa nila.
Right,
Like they
right.
would merge our ancient rituals with Catholicisms. Like water would be the ancient ritual for water is the same thing as baptism. Parang ganun. So they
Right,
would
right.
connect and swap. Like
Right.
our Mary is like another female goddess in in the Philippine pantheon. Parang ganun ginawa nila.
Right. But
That's why
I,
it
And
was so
unfortunately,
effective in terms of
uh
like it was so effective in terms of like changing like total 180 of how
yeah.
our practices are. No? Kasi until now, we still practice them. So it shows how effective it is, whether if it's a good thing or a bad thing. I don't know.
mm,
True, true, true.
yeah.
Kaya nga 'di
Yeah.
ba parang ang dami nating mga santo-santo dito, like santo dito, santo doon, ang dami talaga every barangay iba-ibang santo na lang talaga. Because I think that has been ingrained in us for the longest time that we praise and honor and parang worship different gods like pre-colonial times. And then that's their way to really like merge, assimilate kumbaga, the
Yes.
culture, 'di ba? As
Right.
far as I know, parang we were colonized the second time eh. Parang the first Portuguese galleon came here and they were not successful eh. Kasi they basically forced the cross to the pre-colonial Filipinos, kumbaga, yung mga Malayans, di ba? So, and then they came back and then, well, the Pope said, hey, do something about it, be strategic. And then since alam nyo na that they are basically praising different gods, then do something about it. That's why, sabi nga nila, they sort of like marry, different saints, din naging Santo Niño yung isang god, di ba? May ganong parallelism, ganyan, or
Yeah.
transformation. And kaya nga ngayon, and then there, di ba, I think, what's the term, Lance? Faux colonial, what did you say?
Folk Christianity.
Okay.
Or
So,
folk Catholicism. Parang ganun.
right.
Kasi it's based on the folk beliefs of the people. Kaya if you would see,
Correct.
our Christianity is different from the Christianity of Mexico. Kasi
Right.
they have a different folk religion before Catholicism. And ang nakakatawa lang, kaya parang if you go even back to history itself, like my partner was saying with Catholicism itself, those are borrowed from the statues of Isis and Osiris in the Egyptian mythology. So, ang kulit lang. And if you go back to December 25, that itself is a marrying of the religions around Judea during that time. Because they had to unify all of them for Constantinople to conquer the whole world, kumbaga. And
Yeah.
December 25 was the intercession of all the strongest pantheons, Jupiter, Zeus, parang ganon.
Yeah.
Ang kulit, di ba? So, it's that deep. So, ang nakakainis lang minsan, they forget that the animist religion, the Wiccan, and the others, the folk religions, or folk beliefs that we had before,
Right.
had an
right.
impact to Christianity. And
Right.
nakakatawa lang na they're parts of two different ends of a spectrum.
True, true, true. And another thing, so which we can actually link back to the series naman. Parang witches are always women, right? Babaylan, correct?
Not
Parang
all.
No, not all. We have
Not
male-
We have male witches.
Okay.
Currently, my partner's used to be a high witch for a coven. And yeah, we also had the trans witches. The
Okay.
trans babaylans. Kasi in order for you to become a baylan, if there was no female present, they would get a male who has a
Assume.
very female energy or assume a female energy or parang who is at home being with a female energy. Hence parang the trans community was born or was existing even before the Spaniards came. Kaya I used to believe na we were matriarchal as a society before
Ayan,
kasi
okay.
women were equal.
Yes.
We treated women as equals, not unlike how we treat them now during the patriarchal society.
Right. Siguro another reason that I asked the question is siguro for all our friends watching also and for us, no, it's for us to neutralize the belief eh. Kasi I know that, sorry to say, but Christians or Catholics would say it's paganism, so on and so forth. But alam niyo ba, even, sorry ha, so may mga nanonood talaga dyan, yung mga Christian denominations, like Christian groups would say that whatever the Catholics do, and I was born a Catholic, right? And we are all born Catholic, right? Parang paganism do yun. Whenever you praise or whenever you worship, like whenever you actually do devotions for like Mary or even ano ba to, Sacred Heart, yung mga ganyan, mga ano ba to sa Quiapo?
Black Nazarene.
The Black
Yun nga,
Nazarene.
kaya nga it's like that's the marrying of folk Christianity. Kasi if you go back to the way in the culture before, we didn't revere saints.
Right. So, yun nga, parang the whole idea is parang siguro ang goal ko in mind is for us to really talk about it in a very historical manner and appreciate it. Kasi I think for us to appreciate also the series, we have to also backtrack a little bit and like talk about it. And then ano ba yung role nito in the series in the first place? Kasi di ba yung mga nagtatanong kanina na parang, is it a horror series?
Yeah.
Di ba? So parang like for us to have a neutral understanding, I guess, of what witchcraft, divination are, it's good that we talk about it like historically, like in a very fast manner. Eh. Kasi for me, parang there's nothing wrong about that. I mean, to each his own, right? We can't just force people to believe a certain way and do practices a certain way, diba? So, kasi very crucial yung magic divination in the series like more than anything. And it's something that we can anticipate in the next episodes, diba?
Yeah.
Kasi kaya tinatanong ko rin parang kaya tinatanong ko babae ba talaga pag witch? Hindi naman siguro. And I guess Laura, the character, Jennifer has a big role in this, right? More than just witch, diba? There is something there, diba? That we need to really understand and unravel in the next episodes. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what I appreciate about the coming BS that came. Like we just dropped two, siguro. Like influencers, Your Home and Cheat. These three have powerful women characters that play a big role in their BL world, which is rarely done in the other previous ones.
Yep.
Like they're the main characters, kumbaga, they're the main drivers, they're the main push, especially with Laura, but especially with this, na she is the instigator or kumbaga, she's the puppeteer for the BL roles.
Siya yung nagtatahi ng lahat ng characters.
Yes, siya nagtatahi ng lahat ng characters. So, and I think that's going to be that's the new trend now, na it's not just going to be a story about two boys falling in love. It's like a story of two boys falling in love with the people around them. And I think that is the mark left. Kung tatawid tayo sa GSP, parang tell the story of the others of your audience, not just of the people who are falling in love, but all those who are part of that story and journey.
Right.
Diba?
Right. Buo siya. Maraming nangyayari.
Yeah, with this story naman, I'm very happy with this too. I'm happy too kasi you could see the balance of both sides. You have the sister who's part of the Christian order, and you have the mother, which is part of the Wiccan order or the magic order. So you could see both dark and light with them in both characters.
Right. Well, I just hope that siguro the series will not actually taint any religion or any belief or practice at all in a very negative sense. Like towards the end, I just hope that we see both Christianity or Opus Dei or Catholicism, diba, for that matter, and witchcraft, magic, and divination as just a tool or part of the narrative. Diba? Sana hindi natin maramdaman na ano ba yan, itong mga Katoliko na to, or ano ba to, magic is kind of too much, diba? Parang I just hope that it will just be used as a device for us to understand the message of the entire series. Yun.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that is the message naman. If I remember one of the interviews, it's like this is going to be a battle of what is good and what is evil. what is
Yeah.
love and what do you love the most, and what is light and what is dark. It's all about concepts. It's all about perspective. Depends on which side of the story you are in.
Yep. Yes, yes, yes. Wait, this is, I think we did talk about this the last time, but ang dami na nating na bring up na parang, ano ba ito? Parang storyline for
I
episode 2, remember?
know.
Napunta na tayo ng gobyerno, napunta na tayo ng, ano to, polyamory, Diyos ko, mama, dami. Di ba? Pero, I
Binabaan po
think,
namin para kay VR. We didn't go so deep.
pero at least I think one of you guys made mention of this storyline din na parang yeah, it's about cheating, diba? Will you be okay if you cheat for you to get the love back, diba? Diba parang ganun yung parang yun yung usapan natin the last time.
Mm.
Parang will you be
Ito na nga.
okay going through the gayuma for you to get that person that you sort of like, 'di ba? And then here is Jennifer. Parang naging tatlo sila, 'di ba? Kasi okay, that's
Three will be
interesting how
free.
yeah. 'Di ba? So it's interesting. It's cool. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's so
Yeah.
interesting how it's played down, yeah.
Yeah, I'll throw the same question. Curious ako sa masagot nyo. Like,
Go.
would you be okay for Gayuma? Or let's say, would you be okay to cheat the natural selection of love?
Oh. Go Maki.
Pain talaga. Well, love. Ako no, personally,
Okay. Mm.
because I think that even if it is effective of what ritual you did, or like in this case, gayuma, no? Even if it is effective for the purpose of having that person like you back or love you back, feeling ko kasi like the repercussion would be first and foremost to yourself, because ako personally, I cannot live with a lie for the rest of my life. I mean, think I can't think that it is a possibility for me na
Okay.
I will keep a secret until the end of time, no? Or at least until I'm dead, ganyan.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Pero kasi I understand. I understand, and I do get like Alora's character, Jennifer, and why she did what she did. No? Parang it's just that for me, first and foremost, you're cheating yourself because you're making yourself believe that that person likes you back. I mean, that person loves you. So parang you will always have that constant paano ba? Constant tug of war of thoughts, whether is that
True.
person doing it because he or she is like nagayuma, or like parang wala na ba yung spell, or wala na ba yung effect, yung incantation or whatnot, na he or she is already doing it freely on his or her own, so you'll never know the answer. So parang as a curious gay guy, lagi singit yung gay guy, pero as a curious person, parang how can I live if whether I will second guess and doubt the actions of the other person, whether if it's
True.
genuine or whether it's driven by an external force beyond his or her control.
Yeah.
So yeah. And again, first, since you've cheated yourself, you're also cheating that person because you're taking away the rights of that person to freely choose who he or she will choose to love, or like you're also taking away the rights of that person to like to to make plans for himself, to decide for himself or herself. So ayun, personally, hindi ko siya, I don't see na I will ever dwell on like paggayuma. Yeah, for love, no.
Yes.
Hindi
Uy,
ko
ako,
talaga may instance ba na accept love eh. Pero sige, let's keep it for later.
huwag mo kalimutan yan. Feeling ko maganda yung diskusyon na natin dyan. Ako naman, I have to say no. Because they say that love is deliberate, love is free, right? Ito, siguro, I'd like to parang siguro shift to another movie that I just recently watched. Si Lance yung nagsabi nito, Changing Partners, right? So Changing Partners kasi,
Yes.
it's a very symbolic way, symbolic parallelisms of stories, diba? Put together into one, saying the same message over and over again, right? So ang nakuha ko sa doon, parang if you can control your partner, if you can control love, will you really control love? Will you manage? Will you hold your partner in the neck and tell him or her that hey, this is what you're supposed to do, and parang instruct him what to do, what she should do, 'di ba? Ganun ba ang gusto natin mangyari? So ako in a practical sense, I don't want that. Parang sa gayuma kasi in a way there's a sense of control, right? Parang binigyan mo siya ng gayuma para mapunta siya sa'yo. Because technically people like us, we want to have a good sense of control of things, right? Don't want uncertainty. May tao bang gusto ang uncertainty sa buhay? But we don't want things to be so unsure, right? When it comes to love and relationships, it has to be black or white, diba? If you don't want me, then go. If you want me, then so we want that certainty in the relationship. And I guess magic or gayuma is used as a way to really, for me, to really take control of things in the relationship and to be certain about it. That hey, I want you to be in love with me. I'll give you gayuma and I'll be okay and I'll be happy. Ako naman, parang in a practical worldly sense, I think it's a way to control the relationship and to manage it. And to me, that's not how you go with love. Like relationships are very uncertain, right? I mean, you guys have been in the relationship, both of you. I mean, it's not always butterflies and rainbows every day, but you have to keep on working for you to improve the relationship and work on the relationship. Ganun talaga. And I guess the reason that people opt for an easy way to deal with the relationship is you want things to be happy and easy and ecstatic, di ba? Pero hindi ganun eh. Mahirap ang pumasok sa isang relasyon. So my answer, ang dami ko sinabi. My answer to that question is no, because I don't want the relationship to be controlled. I want the relationship to be at ease, to be deliberate, to be free, because that's not love anymore for me. Yun.
Yeah. Wait, sorry. To add to what Nico mentioned, I want the relationship to be conversational. So it's
Yun.
always a two-way street, or four, or
Yes.
three. We don't know. Pero it
Yes.
should always be a conversation.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. Go,
Kahit
Lance.
naman ako,
Since you've asked the question.
yeah, I'll answer the same question too. Parang I won't even delve with that because I'm scared. I'm scared of ano yung balik sa akin when it comes to that. Kasi
Right.
I'd still think that every magic has a price. Regardless if it's karma, regardless if it's good or bad mojo, everything has a price.
Sure.
And I'm scared if you tamper with the natural selection or the natural fate and destinies of love, you might ruin a certain timeline for you, which should have
Okay.
been, and it might go another direction.
Right. Yes. Pero ito, follow-up question. Parang why would people, the fact na may gayuma, why would people opt for gayumas? Bakit kaya? Is it just a matter? Kasi ako, ang interpretation ko, it's just a way to control the situation and be in a good situation, right? But why do people kaya go or opt for gayumas?
Kasi there are things that they cannot control and they want to control, and they use magic or gayuma for that to make it work.
Okay.
Parang that's their cheap way to get through life.
Yes.
Kumbaga.
Pero ito pa parang ginagawang katatawanan minsan yan in Filipino films right?
I know.
Ginayuma siya, ganyan.
Yeah.
So, parang nagiging katatawanan na tuloy yung paggayuma, di ba? It becomes banal and mundane eh. Hindi na siya masyadong special eh. Di ba?
Yes.
And aside from the katatawanan, there are also some films, Filipino films, sadly, na they take gayuma in the sexual way naman. So parang,
there you
I
go.
think it's
Yes.
worse. I think for me personally, I see it worse. Na parang, that's sexual manipulation. I mean, that's for me, that's one of the worst kinds of manipulation.
Yeah.
Sexual manipulation. So parang, naisip ko lang kasi there's a film with the same title. So, parang,
Oh.
yeah. So parang hindi yeah, I just
It's
hope
not
na
right.
yeah, okay. I just hope that we don't go that route anymore, and we progress collectively as a population. No? We
True.
not kasi it's just like sorry, like something that popped into my mind. Na something kasi na like in the past years now. Kasi if we are set in, for example, 2008 right now, we are still progressing in that setting. In 2008, what's happening in 2008 is still progress. However, what happened kasi with like 12 years after in 2020s, because um there is a lot of progression in 2008. However, it didn't carry the whole population or like the majority of the population. So parang dun lang nag-progress lang din lalo yung divide between people in terms of, for example, inequalities of concepts, inequalities of ideologies, of knowledge na
Right.
lumayo yung ano kasi parang naging elitist tignan yung pagiging matalino at pagiging intellectual. We see
Agree.
parang coming from a 2008 person na nabuhay ng kala mo napakatagal na panahon na, pero from that sense, from that year, parang kapag intellectual ka, hiwalay hiwalay ka sa masa so parang sana when we move forward 2021 and moving and so on, sana dala natin karamihan, no? Hindi lang yung tayo, kundi yung mga voiceless people of the masses.
Right.
So, naging
Yes.
activist na bigla. Okay, na ibang topic yan. Go.
But that
Ibang
makes
topic
sense.
na po. Pero it connects pa na naman.
Yeah. Yes. You were saying something
Oh, sorry,
kanina.
kanina.
Go.
Ay, sorry. Kanina, may comment si Lance sa YouTube. He was asking Alora if may pa ano ba siya, so hindi ko na talaga makita. Pero may pa ano ba siya, may pa what do you call this? Sneak peek for the next episode.
Oh, okay. You bring may repercussion or something.
Yeah.
May
Sabi
patsa
ni
siya.
Lan, do you have any tea to spill for this episode 2? And Alora said, repercussion. So parang, Lance's comment was 9:32, and then Alora's reply was 9:35.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
3
Ano kaya
minutes
So we
yung
shall wait.
SLA. Work mode pa rin talaga sa
Work pa din.
Trabaho.
work mode. Stress ako ng malala. Okay.
Ayan, ito ba yon? Yan.
Mm-hmm. So which brings me to parang hindi naman siya question actually, but it's an observation. It's you guys are free to like to debunk me or whatnot. Pero kasi diba Lance made mention in the first episode na si Mother, si Tuesday Vargas, parang casted a spell without a protection circle.
Right.
And in this episode, Alora and V like casted a spell with a protection circle. However, just like what Pietro mentioned earlier, na hindi tama kasi hindi tapos, and then they left the circle, if I got the whole concept and the context of it correctly. So do you think it's really like it's deliberately part of what do you call this, of the story of the kwento ng Cheat the series? Kasi the reason why I'm asking this is there are a lot of series na these minor details are already, hindi na siya pinapansin ng production na, diba? May mga series na hindi na hinihimay ng ganun kaliit at ganun kadetalyado yung mga nangyayari. Kasi first and foremost, given na, for example, the context of Cheat the series is magic, and not a lot of people are well versed with magic. So parang would the normal audience really understand what's happening if walang if walang protection circle, and then they left the circle in the second episode na mid spell na hindi pa tapos, so there will be repercussion. So parang just yun lang, parang feeling ko kasi the concept of magic or the knowledge revolving around magic is not that accessible pa to a lot of people watching the series. So would it be a context na easily may intindihan ng normal na manonood? Yun lang. It's a rhetorical question.
I do get what you're saying. That parang
Yeah.
It would be smart though if they would use those recklessness ni Alora as a plot in the story. Ibig sabihin,
Yeah.
I would put thumbs up to them kasi they studied yung pinapasukan nila. Kasi tulad nga ng sabi nga nila, it's like what we all believe in. And I think like in every magic spell, words have power. And it's the same thing with the story they tell. Their story would have power too, especially on what the community, what they would represent, what community they might show, even if they have a disclaimer that starts saying, these are based on blah 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 blah. Pero these are still, this would still reflect on the notions of society or what society may think of after once they see the show.
Actually,
Right.
pero good rhetorical question. Pero it doesn't
Mm.
really necessitate an answer naman, no?
Mm.
Pero yeah, parang kung manonood ka, ang tanong ko kasi like for a general audience, will they really get the whole context? Kasi ito pinag-uusapan natin 'di ba? Like from historical and then now we're trying to neutralize the understanding of magic or whatnot. And then now we're discussing about what's happening in the series. Ganun ba ang kamalayan, ano na naman tayo sa kamalayan, consciousness ng sangkatauhan, 'di ba? So, I think it's a risk, definitely. And ako wishful thinking na lang. I just hope that people will see through. Because there's more to really not necessarily parang interpret Parang it's pretty straightforward. It's just that, right? I just hope na they will not fall into the parang risk of people interpreting it as yun nga, horror, negative incantation and magic, ganyan. I just hope that people will interpret it like na parang charmed lang pero may kwento behind, di ba? So, it's quite a risk actually kung titignan mo, di ba? Kasi technically konteksto siya di ba? Pero if people really don't have the knowledge about it, ang tendency is they will appreciate the series in a certain manner, di ba? Which can also be risky. Kasi baka itong interpretation natin as BBS and with our friends here in the chat is different from how the general audience really would understand the series, di ba? Baka, yun yung parang, siguro ang follow-up question ko dun sa parang rhetorical question ni Maki, parang, mako-compromise ba ang message? May risk ba that the context of magic about being a backdrop or being a vehicle or a device, diba? Will it is there a risk of compromising the message towards the end? Because technically, not all people will be on the same page if you talk about like magic and all of these things, right? Parang sa tingin nyo ba, it will be compromised towards the end? People will take it differently?
Well, nag-comment si VR. Sabi niya, he has an answer to that daw. He will say it daw after episode 6.
Yes.
So, but he already mentioned it. Assignment ba to? Hanaman namin pa nahanapin. Pero ayun.
Maghahalongkat ba tayo ng mga interviews ni VR? VR, which show? Random Slash ba to? Yung kay X, Packwad, ano pa ba? O yung sa amin.
Sayang tuloy, hindi natin siya natanong yung interview natin sa kanila.
Oo nga
Kasagutin naman pala niya. Parang, we picked our questions para walang spoiler sa tanong. Anyway.
Uy, natambay daw si VR sa episode 3 sa live natin. Kasi syempre, lalabas na siya dun We saw the teaser, di ba? We saw a little teaser of him with a camera, taking a video of something happening. So baka ito yung 7 out of 10 na sinasabi niya sa atin.
Yes.
Sabi ni VR yung 7 out of 10 daw is episode 2. So yun ba yung kay Daryl, kay V?
Maybe. Tapos sabi niya, he uploaded daw some clues in episode 3. So abangan natin sa channel ni VR to. Or let's check out his channel sa vlog niya. Wala kasi si Mikey para i-cross-confirm natin niya.
Resident researcher.
Yes.
Naghanap talaga ako may tweet si VR, no? Baka may tweet naman si VR.
Go, go, go.
I-share mo yan.
Oo, habang natutuwa si Kiko, nalabas na yung crush of his life na si Iyo, matis na daw siya. Ganun eh.
Matis na mumula.
May sasabihin sana ako, pero
O, ito na lang. Siguro parang to make it a bit light siguro. Ano sabi niya?
Ano sabi yan?
see the series episode 3 in 4 pictures.
Alam mo,
So, ito yung 4 pictures. 3 talong at 1 peach.
4 will be
Alam mo,
more.
VR,
Or mag-flash. Mag-5 will be live na kayo.
search ko ha. Tapos flash natin. Sure.
ay, na-curious tuloy ako. No? Pero,
Ano kaya yun? Let me share my screen ha. Eksena to si VR eh.
Ang saya-saya, no?
oh,
I-invite kayo natin siya dito, no?
True. Kita nyo ba? From your screens.
Il-zoom in mo pa.
ano to, free promotion kay VR, no? So,
Oo, just follow his
po.
link. Paki-follow pa YouTube na rin for more tea, shades, and patalong, and peaches. VR Relosa.
Ayan.
Episode 3 daw is the longest episode. So, mga 22 minutes yon kasi ngayon 20 minutes lang ata.
Yes.
Yes.
Ano kaya to? Intriga. Kainis.
3 talongs and a peach.
Hala! Diyos ko.
Diyos ko, ano
baka
pa halaman
mag-ano
to?
sila. Magtotoo pa
Pwede.
sila. Dessert.
Yeah.
Ang
I
peach.
Ay, ganun.
Pwede.
Tawid. Sige, tawid. Para hindi bastos
Tawid.
tawid.
Ano pa yung sa baba pa?
Oo.
3 torta at peach drink.
Maganda pa tayo.
Although, if, Nico, can you scroll din sa ano? Ay, inutusan ng kapala mo ka. Yung sa tweet ni VR na episode 2 in 4 pictures. Scroll pa baba.
Pababa.
Pa
Ito sa
daw.
preview tweet pa. Bababa.
PR, anong dream tong nangyari? Pa-explain. Habang naghihintay ka pa.
Yan.
O, di ba yung mga pa ganun si VR nakakatuwa? So,
Diba?
we got the back hug ng penguin.
Yeah.
We got the glass of water for the Gayuma. We got the gaming with Iyo and the witch, the spellcraft. So ano yung 3 tanong at yung 1 peach?
Yeah, so parang feeling ko kasama
Wait,
na to sa
bakit
weekly
ganyan?
reviews natin kung accurate ba yung mga photos yung tweets ni VR sa episode.
Wait, cute to ha, in fairness. Mga visuals si Emma na ganyan ha. Gusto, ay nako,
VR,
yan ha. Intriga kami. Effective to.
Oo, sabi ni VR, 13/10 na daw yung patalong tsaka yung pa-peach. Good luck sa atin.
Oh, yeah.
So sa'yo ba yung isa, VR? Tsaka joke lang.
Yun ang tanong. May kinalaman ba yung mga pwesto at angulo ng mga talong dyan? Kasi pansinin mo, may kinalaman ba yung mga yan?
So kani-kanino yan, VR?
Kiko,
Baba.
kulang ka na lang kamatis na mga kompleto dito, no? Pwede ka na dito, Kiko.
Oh.
Si Kiko yung peach.
O, diba? Wait, ay nako, VR, ituloy-tuloy mo yung mga pagganyan mo. Effective. Intriga kami.
I-revisit namin yan every review ng cheat.
Oo.
Ay, totoo. Ay, masaya yun.
I-decipher namin.
Yes.
Diba?
Yes. Wait, VR, dapat consistent ka ha. Dapat may tweet kang mga ganyan. Consistent.
Oo.
Sana ka pala mukha natin. Inutusan si VR.
Effective. Yes.
So don't forget to hit and subscribe his page na rin, his YouTube na rin, di ba? VR Relosa. So wala si Mikey.
Yep.
VR Key, ganun eh.
Wala si Mikey.
At nilabas na yung reaction video na episode 1. So let's support VR din on that.
Okay.
Baka may tea rin siyang nilabas. Hindi ko pa napapanood yun eh. Pero baka may tea na rin siyang nilabas doon. And ayun. At may pa-shoutout siya doon sa episode 1 niya.
Nilabas sa Twitter niya. May joke lang.
We approve daw ni Direk, sabi niya.
Ay, wow.
Yes. Cute.
Sabi niya, actually, he's asking me to upload more kasi di ko na kaya. Ikaw pa talaga hindi kumayad.
Ay, ang saya. Gusto mo ng tulong VR? Kami natutulong sa'yo.
O, diba? Gusto mo yun?
Oo, help us, we'll help you. Just
Oo.
slide some DMs with Talong and Peaches.
Yes.
We will help.
Yun na kami. Excel. Tawa siya, oh.
Mhm.
Tawa means yes daw, sabi. Char.
Yes.
Masaya ka, VR. Charot.
Uy, pero
Chinika.
cute ha. Effective. I love it.
Yes.
Uy, pero ano overall, ito na lang, parang sino yung nag-charm sa inyo in the series? Who charmed you in the series? Who gave you the charm?
Series.
Yeah.
The whole series or just episode 2?
Sorry, the episode rather. Episode 2.
Siyempre, hindi si VR yon kasi wala naman siya dito.
Si VR kasi nawawala siya.
Oo. Paano ba? Charm
Sabi ni
in
Kiko,
what sense?
Si Kiko daw ang sagot niya si Iyo tsaka si Migo ng paulit-ulit. Malakas, all caps,
Oo.
Iyo and Migo.
Ayan. Sige, Kiko. Ilaban mo
Kiko,
yan.
push mo pa yan. Laban mo pa yan.
Kayo.
Ako, siguro, paano ba? In terms of, gusto mo yung kinwalify talaga. Pero in terms of effectiveness in acting, I would go for Alora, Jennifer.
Yeah. Yes.
Mhm.
Saka, I'm a gay guy, pero ang ganda niya kasi talaga. Like, oh my God,
Oh, yes.
sobrang ganda.
Yes, man.
Pero
Naging gender
also,
fluid ka ba bigla? Char.
napaisip ako, joke lang. Di, ayun. Pero kasi I would also have to commend Iyo. Not just not dahil crush ko siya, well, although partly, pero kasi in this episode, ang daming lines ni Jennifer. Like, she has a lot of lines, she does a lot of things for this
True.
episode. So, she has a lot of opportunities and chances to shine. Diba? Kasi ang laki ng role niya eh. So, if she did it well, which she did, mas magiging remarkable, which in based on our review for tonight, she did. So it was a remarkable performance for her for this episode. Kasi for that, parang basing it on statistics na lang or like percentage, na if one small mishap would be compensated for by a lot of good acting scenes. So parang with Alora's like with how Alora's character is in episode 2, she really did shine. However, I also want to commend Iyo or Allen, kasi with the small role that he has for this episode, it's very natural. Parang kitang-kita mo sa kanya na this is not the first time that he's doing acting. I mean, it's very evident that he knows what he's doing. He knows his craft. He studied the character, and he parang there are a lot of things kasi now I've also watched a lot of content now when you are just like at the back or like the second degree character for that scene, no? Na parang you're expected to like to chit chat with another character while the main focus is two different or a different character per se. He did it so well na hindi siya awkward tignan because there are a lot of content or like films and series episodes na when there are characters na nag-chit-chat sa likod, parang alam mo yung nagmumumble lang sila ng watermelon, just so into it.
True.
Yeah, di ba? Pero with Allen or Iyo, kasi specifically Iyo because he's the actor, no? Ang laki ng naitulong niya with the small role that he has for this episode. Kasi
True.
nadala niya eh. I mean, nakita yung character niya, napakita rin yung character somehow ni Migo and the side kung paano si Migo with his best friend. So, yun, mas I would also have to commend Iyo din for even given the small role that he has for this episode and effective siya. Kasi that's a very hard thing to do. Stand out while your role is small. At least for this episode.
True.
So it's a hard thing to do. Nasagot ko ba yung tanong? Ang dal-dal ko.
Yes!
Yes, sagot mo naman.
Definitely. Well qualified. Yes. Ikaw, Lads.
Ang nag-stand out sa akin, dahil wala si VR sa show na yun, si VR sana, kaya nawawala siya, si Alora actually. So she commanded the show. I mean, she commanded the episode, really commanded the episode for me. Parang she was the highlight for it. So kudos to her. And On a second naman si Io kasi he acted so natural. As if siya lang yung tropa dun sa, parang feeling ko out of all the spellcasters or out of those group, siya lang yung hindi involved sa spells. Siguro. Kumbaga siya lang yung human. Kaya he's the quirky one, maybe. I don't know, but we shall see. Pero yun, it's more of Alora kasi I like how she acts. I like how expressive her eyes are. I like how she could play yung those little gestures na ganon. You could see everything, like she's acting from head to toe.
True.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, I have to agree with you two.
VR napuyat daw siya, sorry. Sabi ni VR napuyat daw siya, kaya tulog siya buong episode 2.
Pinunod daw siya ni Kwan nung dalawa.
Ikaw mo lang namin nakita doon. Sa bahay lang naman kayo, di ba? Dapat nakita man lang namin kayong dumaan sa likod or something. Char lang.
True.
Ako, Alora. I think you guys pretty much said, Alora. Like, Alora all the way. I really felt her here. I really saw her, not just the potential, but really the character, more than anything. Wala na akong masabi talaga. But I have to agree with Maki. Kahit ang iksi lang ng time ni Iyo doon, as Allen, no? I felt like, I'll inject siguro direction or directing styles, I guess. Parang you can really inject. Gusto mo? Oo, kasi naglabas na ng vaccine ang Pfizer, ma'am. Char lang. Ayun.
Kaya naman pala.
Ayun, so I just feel like on screen the direction is so precise. You can really sense it. I don't know kung baka ako lang to ha. Like sabi nga ni Maki kanina, parang you can really sense na hindi lang siya, kasi there's a difference between freestyle and improvisation eh. When you say freestyle, yung tipong wala lang, walang konteksto yung mga aktor, kung ano-ano lang mga pinagsasabi at mga pinagagagawa dyan sa eksena. Wala tawag sila. Hugot ko talaga yan. Anyway, so...
I know your shade, man.
Alam mo yan. So, ito kasi, parang I feel like it's so precise to the point. Feeling ko ang ginawa ng director is, okay, say these words or phrases as precisely as he could para nung lumabas na siya on screen, it sounded so natural, right? As opposed to like letting them do freestyle conversation, it could have been so all over the place, diba? Kasi kung freestyle, it would be like, I don't know, iba-iba na lang sinasabi sa likod. But here, it's kind of precise. So, to that question, I think that Iyo really came through for me given the small role because of the precision of the direction. And I guess the charm of the acting really comes through because of good direction. That's my take. So I guess the actors themselves are really good, but with proper direction, with appropriate direction, lumalabas yung character at yung acting talaga. But to me, it's Alora and Iyo or Allen in this episode. Kahit maiksi lang, talagang namumukod tangi talaga siya dun eh. Diba, even when they were playing eh, diba? Parang sa akin na napatingin ako kay Iyo for some reason, wala lang naman, naglalaro lang naman siya dun with the best friend. So parang, that's good, diba? Nag-stand out talaga siya.
Yes. Sana may pa-wine din, no? Minsan-minsan. VR, padala ka naman ng wine.
Oo,
Please.
VR.
Ganun yung baso. Sorry. Napansin ko talaga. Ganun ba talaga yung baso ng wine?
Hindi.
Shot glass?
Shot glass? Baka ano yun? Wine tapos mga 50% alcohol. Ganun ba?
Pwede.
Ay,
So
why
hard.
not?
May ganun ba?
Ayun pa, speaking of wine, gusto ko yung reaction ni Ian. Uy, masarap to ah. Di ba normally, if you say that line, there are times there's the risk of like overdoing it eh. Uy, ang sarap nito ah. Di ba kayo gano'ng eksena, may ibang serye na gano'n.
Yes.
But sa iyo kasi, napaka-natural lang, na parang, uy, sarap to ah. Pero okay, that's just your line, but hey, you stood out there for me.
Appropriate yung laki at liit nung galaw niya sa screen na pinapanood ng mga tao. Kapag na mukha ko mag-judge, pero
yes.
Yeah, kasi sabi ko din kanina, there are some instances na medyo mas malaki from what the scene requires. Yung mga acting ng ibang actors. So,
Yep.
Ang galing ng trivia ni VR. Totoong wine pala yun. Ay, ang galing.
Is it a product placement? No,
Hindi,
diba?
wala sila malabo yung brand.
Wala
So,
na.
product placement.
Okay.
Sayang kung may sponsor sana. Proud
Oo
ako
nga
sa'yo.
Yes, true.
Pero
But
wala eh.
Maki made mention of no, parang appropriate size or weight ng movements. Parang it's the reason siguro I said it's a pretty straightforward series is because ang precise and sufficient yung movements and yung weight ng galaw na eh. Tama eh, I have to agree with you. Like for instance, yung when Migo kind of like hugged, what's the name of Daryl there? Sorry. Tignan
Daryl,
mo,
V.
nakakalimutan ko na yung mga pangalan nun.
Si V.
Si V.
Oh, at si V.
Parang, it wasn't too much eh. Diba? It wasn't really too much, right? So parang, si Dong, parang did it enough. Hinug siya saglit. It wasn't too long. Then kumuha ng glasses and then went. And then parang he did the specs sa cheek ni V and then that's it. But it was enough, diba? But other series would like overdo it and like extend it for fan service, which is so unnecessary. Pero ito kasi parang enough lang talaga. Napaka-precise ng movement. I guess for me sa nakikita ko. Yes.
Right. I agree with how you agree with me.
Yes. Okay, but are we watching the next episode?
Yes, definitely.
Sabi ni
Mga-
sabi ni VR, panoorin natin, abangan daw natin siya. So,
Eh kasi
Sabi
tambay
ni
doon sa
Boss, nod tayo.
episode 3 dito. So nod tayo, sabi ni Boss.
Oo, yes. Okay.
Pero ikaw, Nico,
Right.
you're gonna watch, no? You're still gonna watch after.
Yes, definitely. I
Ang tanong-
will watch.
Ang tanong ni VR, are we guys ready for episode 3? Kasi 13/10 daw siya.
Oh my goodness. Sige, fine.
Pero ang abangan talaga namin si VR. Kasi yung sasabi na siya ang abangan natin, pero siya pala na abangan namin.
Nako, VR, sinasabi ko sa'yo.
Ang tanong
ko
yun,
kung kanya ba
VR.
yung isang talong.
Ang tanong, ikaw ba isang
Oo.
talong doon?
Nahiya na raw siya.
Okay lang yan.
Wait, here's a comment though from Meow. What do you think, guys? She says, I think the flashback was a bit too extended. Same with the washing scene. Tama ba? I think that, yeah.
Yeah, like I think they could have cut
Shower.
they could have gotten it shorter, pero given that it's only 15 minutes na whole show, parang pwede na.
Yeah.
Kasi I
Yeah.
think there's a point kung bakit nila kinakat doon. Kasi parang, as we know in a story, there's always a beat to a story or a flow. Feeling ko this whole part
True,
was a fast beat. Tapos the coming beats would be, if they cut it too short or too long, ang mangyayari parang hindi maganda yung magiging flow ng yung hulog ng beat of the story itself. So I think that's why episode 3 is longer kasi that whole beat or that whole chop would tell a completer story, a more complete story.
Yeah.
Uy.
Yes. I have to agree. But for the first 2 episodes, parang okay na ako. Parang hindi ako galit.
Me too.
Alam niyo yan, hindi ako galit. Happy ako.
But I don't know,
Yes.
are we all talking about the same thing? New ones. Sorry. Okay. Move on.
Alam mo na yun. I'm basically happy for with the first 2 episodes. Minor adjustments here and there yung sinabi niyo na kanina. But other than that, when they were with us in the interview, I already had that first impression, and I did say that, right? Sabi ko, you guys can really deliver, and I guess they were able to realize that in the first 2 episodes. Yun lang. Although kulang pa ng exposure si Iyo and Emigo as well as CVR, I guess they will definitely deliver. So I'm gonna stick to that. Magde-deliver pa tong mga to. More.
Yeah, will
Sabi
they?
ni DR, he has a feeling daw na episode 3 will last more than 30 minutes. Not sure kung paano in-edit kami kasi mangyayari.
Okay.
Mm.
I'm curious if
Excited ako.
have they seen the 3rd episode?
Mm.
I'm
VR, napanood nyo na ba yung
curious.
3rd episode?
Yeah.
If you're willing to answer in the chat, please do. Thank you. Ganun eh.
Like other actors would see the premiere pa during eh. Parang
Oo.
they don't get to see the edit just yet. So Kayo ba, VR? Let us know. Na-curious kami bigla.
Curious. May tanong. Tapos wala na pala siya dito.
Oy, di pa raw, sabi niya.
Ay, di pa.
Ay, virgin pa
Yan.
daw siya.
Ay,
Same.
Hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
But same.
Yes. Interesting. Paano kaya yun, no? Like, I'm curious though. Like, if you are an actor and you are in the shoot, so you'd be like, definitely the director would like, motivate and then parang rehearse the actors. So they'd be like given like a scene, right? Parang ganon, sequence ganito, sequence ganyan. But do they really understand? Like, kayo ba VR? Do you really understand the entire thing?
Like,
Or-
kasi,
You
I think
just schedule it like per day and then sequence per sequence, para like the entirety of it. Parang do you have like
parang, if I remember correctly, like when he was telling the story, parang they already knew what will happen, they knew the takbo ng kwento, pero the only thing that they don't know would be paano siya i-edit or i-release in the screen.
Right.
Kasi
Okay.
they're all taking the scenes anyway. So the question is, how will they do it? How will they execute it?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think Nico was coming from parang there are certain scenes or series kasi na halimbawa i-shoot muna yung first part and then the last part and then the part 3 and then part 4 and
Exactly.
then part
Ganun din sila. I mean, parang ganun din ata sa
Oh.
kanila. Pero
Magulo.
when they do that, kasi for example, if you do takes, like for example, for this take, scene 1 and scene 10 will be in the same house. So ang ginagawa, kasi I've worked behind the scenes na rin. So what we do is, let's shoot scene 1 and scene 10 kasi they're all done in the same house, in the same room, in the same place. Tapos we'll shoot the other 2 scenes tomorrow kasi they're done outside, in the backyard.
para it's
Pero that's scene 4 and
logistically easier to do.
Yes.
Right, ito nga, sabi nga niya, episode 5 was shot on the first day. Ayun. So, siguro ang question ko is really coming from, I think everybody knows the entire story already, the entire series.
Yeah.
Good, okay,
Mhm.
tayo dun. Pero like when they shoot, kasi, di ba parang it's part of, I guess, the consciousness then of the actors of what they're actually shooting, right? For example, sabi nga ni VR, parang they shot episode 5 on the first day, parang ano kaya ang iniisip nila at that time? Parang hirap isipin kasi it should be like in a continuous flow, right? Or syempre motivation na rin ng director, 'di ba? Doon ako nanggagaling na parang how is it like? Like out of curiosity lang. Papasok ka as a sequence. In the sequence lang. And then the director will just direct everything, 'di ba? So I guess ganun siya, 'di ba? Kasi
Ganun siya.
iba-ibang araw eh. Yes.
Parang kasi you have to
Pero
shoot.
sabi din ni VR,
Mm.
he has read the script 10 times pre-shoot. So parang basically they know the whole story. So kahit
Ayun.
they already have like where is the character at this point of the series or like which
Right.
at this
Right.
episode in the series. No?
True. Yes.
Kaya if you notice then, like for example, for some scenes, yung if hindi magaling yung actor, notice mo na hilaw yung acting nila in between some of the episodes.
Yes.
Kasi that would mean that they took that scene first before the others.
Right. Ano ba itong napanood natin before? Kayo nagsabi sila Ange ba to and si Patty? Still Together or Together the series? There were like scenes and episodes shot in a day. Ano ba yun? Nakalimutan ko na. Na medyo mabilis yung takbo. I think the last episode of Together the series was shot like very, very quickly. Parang ganun yung kwento nyo. Na medyo kaya we felt like it was done, it was like rushed.
Like I think yung first na Together was the one that was shot kasi they had, remember, nagkaroon ng pandemic. So they had to reshuffle the other takes that they had left.
Yun.
Refurbish what they had. So it was rushed.
Yun. I think that's what you're also saying, Lance, no? Parang it also affects like the entirety of the production, like one episode lang. Kaya tayo, reaction natin as viewers, like it felt rushed. The acting was this, was that. Ba't ganito, ganyan, diba? So ang laking factor nun. Yes. Grabe, no? Pero sobrang bilib ko talaga sa director dito, I swear. Kasi you rarely see that on screen, right? Parang yung precision ng movements and everything. So, yes!
And I also like
Ayan.
hindi nila pinan yung shower scene na hindi nagpan. Kasi there are a lot of series na gagatasan, pun intended, yung ganong klaseng scene. So parang I'm happy they didn't go that route kasi hindi
Yeah.
siya distasteful.
Yes.
Inulit ko lang. Sorry. Sinabi ko na ata siya kanina pero inulit ko lang.
Okay lang.
To emphasize.
Yes.
Yes.
Sabi ni before we end our session, sabi ni VR, si Direk kasi pinapractice kami ng sa scene ng maraming beses bago mag-take. Oh, good. Yes.
Yun nga, tsaka, what I appreciate kasi naman talaga sa kanila, you could see the comfortability level of all of them on the get-go pa lang. So, walang awkwardness, kahit magyakapan sila, okay lang. Kahit magharutan sila, okay lang. Walang dead air. Like yung batuhan pa lang ni Migo and Iyo, as if it was shot in real life, na naglalaro lang sila.
Right.
And I know that's choreographed somehow. Or they were directed like that somehow. Diba?
Right. Yes. Okay. Mag-outro na ba tayo? I think that's
May
fair
last words
to
na ba kayo? Do you guys have last words for Cheat?
Kudos. I mean, keep up the good work. Alora, sila Nico, Iyo, and Daryl. Talagang you're keeping the pace and the dynamic. So keep it up. We're looking forward to
The momentum
more.
is there.
Yes.
Yep.
Ayun.
Yun lang.
Ikaw ba, Lance?
Si Maki na lang muna para diretso na.
Ano lang, so far I'm happy with how the story unfolds. There are I don't want to go back with what I said earlier in terms of the inconsistencies of the visuals and everything. Pero you can really feel that the actors are there in the scene. So parang keep up the good work. Ang pangit kasi keep up the good work. Ang lakas maka preschool teacher. Keep up the good work. Ayun, pero it's cliche, pero yeah, keep up the good work, mga anak. Kasi you're already there, and I mean, stay there. Wala na masabi.
Yes.
Yeah, and I do hope naman after, if ever Cheat ends, and I do hope we get to see more of them as actors. We hope to get to see Migo, Iyo, VR, Daryl, and Alora more in other series and episodes and movies. Especially, I want to see VR Key, ganun eh. I want to see more of the vlogs of VR to flourish. Plus, please support him, subscribe on his YouTube channel, VR Elosa. Thank you also for the shout out in BBS in your description for episode 1's reaction video. Thank you so much. And then, for Alora, ikaw pa rin ang Darna ng buhay ko. Ganun eh.
Yes!
Sana ikaw na maging Darna for the whole Philippines soon.
Oy, true.
At malay mo, baka magkaroon ng Darna the Musical. Siya po ni Darna. Darna the Musical. Tapos siya yung Darna natin.
Paano yung Darna the Musical? Ano kakantahin niya? Diba?
Tila ibon kang lumipad.
Pwede.
O diba? Kung may Jaja Torna the Musical, may Darna the Musical.
Pero pag sumigaw siya ng Darna, kakantahin niya.
O parang Sailor Moon lang. Ding, ang bato! Si ikot-ikot sa saya, may dance number. Tapos ganun lipad.
Bet.
O diba?
Wala pa nag-musical ng Darna, diba?
Wala.
Gonna be the first. Yes.
Parang the only superhero musical I've seen was Jaja Saturna.
Yep.
By Sir Vince. Jesus. May musical na ba sila?
Uy! Mama, Crystal, bakit?
Kristala.
Gusto ko yun. Ayun na, umoutro na tayo.
Oo nga pagod na ako. Guys, thank you for following. I hope you guys would follow and subscribe our YouTube channels. It's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitter. Below is Maki and Nico. And if you want to meet more of the squad, you can check it down in the banner for our personal tweet to our accounts. So, and I'm Lance. So thank you for watching. As the influencers would say, we're out and proud. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Happy Tuesday. VR, thank you for joining.
VR